So you got the SSR box. Congrats. But before opening it and choosing a unit, allow me to give you some recommendations. Also, stick around till the end for some random summons that I did. Now, I originally made this video over stream to farm a YouTube video out of, but I actually got some information wrong, so I'm here to correct that by adding some new stuff. Before we begin though, guys, if you guys enjoy this video and it helps you out, please leave a like. It definitely helps me out as well as the channel. If you enjoy me as a person, then why not consider subscribing? It's free and you can always change your mind later. I also have a second channel though, Dorks and Casuals. That one's going to be where all of my stream moments are. Funny moments and just gameplay of stuff. But these videos always take a lot of time and effort to make, so it would definitely help me out, and it tells me that you guys want to see more stuff like this from me. And if that's the case, why don't you check out my streams over at twitch.tv/dorkcasualgaming. That's where all the magic happens, all the fun stuff, all the good times. So why not join us? Anyway, let's begin. All right, so now we're here in Tier Maker. And I already have it set up with some priority units for your SSR box. We'll start off with the high priority units. First things first, we have Samir. Now, Samir is really good for multiple reasons. She has one of the highest damage outputs in the entire game due to her combo. She has one of the highest combo strings, and she does some really good AoE with her dual guns. Not only that, she can practically fire infinitely as long as you have the stamina for it. If you hold down whatever attack button you use, and it can dish out a hell of a lot of damage in like one burst. She also has a really good charge value, which is going to help you out when using your weapon skills and your weapon switches. She also really synergizes well with Nemesis, which is the current premium rate-up banner. Nemesis is a really good Volt unit, and she also helps with any other Volt unit due to her Volt damage buff. Next up, we got King. Now, King is here due to his really high damage output. During my testing, I got up to 12,000 damage in just a single use of the skill. He also has the highest shatter value in the entire game right now, at a whopping 12.5. Plus, the damage he dishes out is fire damage, but in any team comp, he would just be there for pure damage dealing and for shattering shields. Up next is Meryl. And with Meryl, you can argue that she can be interchangeable with King. So if you don't have a King, you could also use a Meryl if that suits your fancy. She deals a lot of ice damage and is a pretty good DPS, but she's a bit more focused on tanking, actually. She's actually the best tank in the game right now. Meryl also boasts the second highest shatter value in the entire game with 12, literally just 0.5 right behind King. So really, you can use either King or Meryl, doesn't really matter. It kind of just depends on what kind of damage you're trying to do. Now for the good picks. These are units that you can definitely pick if you already have the highest priority units. I would suggest going with the highest priority units first, but the good picks are a really good second place. First up, we got Huma. Now Huma, like Meryl, is a tank. With her shield, she mitigates a lot of damage. She also does some pretty decent fire damage. She's also the only unit in the game currently that has a 10 in both shatter and charge, which makes her a pretty good all-around jack of all trades kind of unit. To be honest, she's practically King and Meryl's love child, but overall, she's a pretty good pick. Next up, we have Coco. Now Coco is going to be your support unit. She's going to be the one to do a lot of your heals if you don't have a Nemesis. And her heals are second only to Nemesis, actually. And she can deal some pretty good ice damage. She also has a pretty high charge value. I believe it's at 12.5. So you can also use her to charge your abilities. Overall, she's just a really good utility unit. Next up, we've got Zero. Now, Zero, honestly, you can interchange with Coco, just kind of depending. Similar to King and Meryl, Coco is basically Meryl, Zero is basically King. Whichever one you're looking for, they both do really good support, really good heals. It just kind of whatever damage you're trying to do here. Go with Coco for ice, Zero for fire. And on top of that, Zero is a lot better for PvP. He's a bit more useful in shields and things like that. Zero also boasts the highest charge in the entire game with 13, which means if you're looking for somebody to charge up your skills, you can't really go wrong with the Zero. Next up is Tsubasa. Now, Tsubasa is a pretty good sub DPS or support DPS, but her main role would be for buffing damage for your team. Her skills allow her to buff certain attacks, so she's pretty good, and she's a ranged ice user. But the reason why she's here and not up higher is because, at least in my opinion, you should be really focusing on getting the main 3 points of a team before investing into an attack buffer. You should really be prioritizing a good shatter, a good charge, and a support, as in healing or damage mitigation. But Tsubasa really does have her uses, and she's not a bad pick either. It's just some other units take higher priority. Now we get on to the low priority. Now, these guys are here not because they're bad characters. If you do summon for them, that's fantastic. They're both still really good characters, of course being SSRs. It's just that they're a bit more niche, or they get overshadowed by all the other units that you can pick from. First is Crow. Now, Crow is here because his gameplay is incredibly niche. He does some really high damage, some really good volt damage, but the only thing is his kit is very crit focused as well as backstab and air combo focused. But depending on where you have him at, you can argue that he's in either one of these categories. But the biggest reason as to why I have him here is honestly because he's just not that great until you get his stars. His kit is very pay to win friendly in the sense that if you don't 6-star him, he's pretty mid. And finally, but of course not least, we have Shiro. Now Shiro is going to be a pretty good shatter unit that does physical damage. Her shatter though is only at, I believe, a 10.5 rating. So it's not the best shatter. And her kit doesn't really synergize with any other units. She's also very reliant on her stars as well, just like Crow. She doesn't really become all that useful until she hits 3-star, so unless you're getting some duplicates, I would steer clear from Shiro. Like I said, she's not a bad unit, but in this case, she is just very overshadowed by every unit in these higher categories because they all do what she can do, just better. Like I said, I would highly recommend getting any of the higher priority units if you don't already have them. But of course, play who you like. This doesn't matter if you're trying to have fun. This is very min-maxed. If you're just trying to beat the game, you could really just use any unit you want. But that's going to do it for the priorities, guys. I hope it helped, but stick around for a second because next up is my summons. Don't worry, it'll be quick. I promise. Take care, guys. Here we go. Main event. Going for Meryl. We're going for King. Zero would be cool too. Here we go. It's time to dump, boys.
Let's go. Please. I beg of you. Give it to me. It's too slow. That was too slow. My wing, I already have you. Let's go. 20? Well, 30? Come on, please. For 4 kitties. Give me 2. Give me 2 SSRs. Make this worth it. Make this worth it for me. Too slow. It's gotta come out. Lickety shit. You know what I mean? Alright. Oh, that's 2 4 stars. That's pretty good. SSRs, I mean. 40. 40. Come on, please. Please. Nope, you're too slow. You're too slow, game. You're too slow. Another pepper? Okay, that's fine, I guess. 60 or 50. Is it 50 or 60? I lost count already because of my nervousness. Whatever, we'll hit it anyway. Nope. Too slow, too slow. Echo. I hate you, Echo. Well, I can tell you now, we're at 51. 60! Come on. Ice Pop or Walmart Duluth. Let's go, come on. Nope, too slow, goddammit. Come on, give me either freaking Rip Off Eula or Bargain Store Duluth. Come on. Come on. Come on! Please! Please! Oh, no. That hurts me. Okay, what is this? Like freaking... Yep, alright, here we go, boys. This is it. This is it.
You guys ready? This is pity. If I can get 2, that'd be amazing. Well, we're going for King. We're going for Meryl. Game. RNGesus, please have mercy upon this whale's soul. Please. Let's go! Hard pity for the win!
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, come on! Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me! Please. Okay, King Meryl, King or Meryl. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I know you're in there. I know you're in there. Oh my god, Pepper, I swear to fucking god. Spooky. Please, King or Meryl, please!
Oh wait, actually Huma. Okay, I'm cool with the Huma. I'm cool with the Huma because Huma's Pog. Huma is Pog, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That is fine by me. Huma is really good. Huma is really good.